be able to introduce to you our guests. We are in the section of Launchpad all about sellers. And so we have a guest speaker today. Kent Levinsky is going to be talking about home warranties. Kent is with Cinch. I've known Kent a long time. Well, let's not go back in how many exactly years, but a long time. And he has been a service partner here in this office and with KW for a very long time. So he's always been a great support to our office, to our agents. And it's important that you know about home warranties. Now, here's what I will say. Over the last 5 years, with a much more heavily leaning seller's market, home warranties haven't always been in the mix, but I will tell you, when I was an agent in a strong buyer's market, as a buyer's agent, it was a given that I was recommending to my buyer, we're going to ask and see if the seller will pay for closing costs and a home warranty. I mean, it was just like, and it was pretty much a given that you get the seller to pay it almost every single time. Now, since houses are staying on the market longer, I'm starting to see this. And there's even more reasons. It's not just because of a market that you want these. Even if the seller won't pay, you're going to want and recommend it highly to your buyers. So home warranties are awesome. They can be a great marketing tool for a listing. But I'm going to hand this over to Kent, and Kent's going to take you through what is a home warranty and get you more familiar with how this can help you and your clients. Thanks, Kent.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for showing up for the class today. I've been with Cinch Home Warranty for, gosh, going on 21 years.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you and I have known each other for a while.
I've had a license for
21, and I sold real estate for 5 years before that at your old place, Reese.
Yes.
So I have been in the business for a long time. I have enjoyed working in the home warranty segment, and it still keeps my foot in the door with you guys as real estate agents. And I think that also is a benefit because I know how to help you and your clients when it comes to home warranties. What home warranties do and how they developed it, they actually started out in California. You may or may not know that, but there was need mainly because real estate agents were just asking for something to help, during that period of time where the homeowners actually get in the home. They don't know the condition of the property other than an inspection. And let's face it, it takes a lot for people to get into home these days from a financial perspective. And so I know we talked about, with the condition of the market, how fast it's moving, maybe it's hard to get a seller to pay for it, but truly, even if you can't get a seller to pay for it today, I think there's really no better reason right now to get a home warranty on than what there was 5 years ago.
Yep.
Because frankly, it is taking everything that a buyer can do to get in these homes from a financial perspective, and they cannot afford to put in a new refrigerator or a new HVAC system. And the current stats are 61% of all buyers today can't afford to put in these items.
They can't afford any repairs once they move in.
Once they move
Because
in.
they put all their pennies together just to get in
The home.
Yeah.
Interest rates are up, housing prices are up, and so I truly think that if you can't get a seller to pay for it, I think there's no better reason to actually sit down and have that conversation with the buyer and get them to purchase it and get it figured into their mortgage. If they can't, afford to buy it outright, or pay for it at closing, it can be figured into their mortgage. And you have to also get away from the mindset, hey, this is a 1-year home warranty, because I've talked to people that have had a home warranty for 8 years. I talked to someone about a month and a half ago with an older lady. She was 91 years old and she had our policy on for 14 years.
Aw.
So, and of course she needed a little extra help to get that claim filed, which I'm always happy to do. But these are geared to keep a budget in mind. So I have a 21-year-old furnace, an air conditioner and a hot water heater, and I'm just like keeping them serviced, but I'm waiting for them to go out. I want to spend my money, going on vacations and doing some of those fun things than going out and buying a new HVAC system.
Yeah.
Right? So hold on just a second. I'm gonna pass this gentleman in the back some of my information. And how are you? Thanks for coming today. So I'm gonna go over what a home warranty does. And if you can see here, what it does is it's gonna cover appliances and systems due to normal wear and tear. Okay, so if you go out, actually, goes out and beats something to try and file a claim, or maybe unfortunately, maybe you have a dog that's actually urinating on the AC system outside.
Oh,
That's
Hopefully
gonna
not.
Yep, that's not gonna be covered by any of us.
oh, it's not. Well, that makes sense. 'cause
Makes-
it's-
Right, okay, it's not normal wear and tear.
Yeah.
So,
Think about that.
right, I do think that's really hard for some people to grasp, is that's not normal wear and tear. And I remember as a kid, probably standing on an air conditioner of my buddy's home as a kid, and that's not considered normal wear and tear, the kids will play. So just kind of a little bit of information there. And also just kind of keep in mind, they have to be considered in working condition at the time of the warranty being put in place. Okay, so what we're saying is it's gotta be working with its design intent. You gotta be able to turn on the system and there you go. You gotta be able to turn on the system and it work the way that it should. So if you turn on that stove and that burner's not working, then that's something that's not working. It should be negotiated for repair. The other thing, one of the good things or ways to consider that is, let's say you go into a home and you can see in the sheetrock that maybe there's some staining there, then they're in the home for a week. That was probably going on before we were around. So one of the things that I have dropped off to you guys is my business card. And if you flip that over, there's a scannable piece to that. Make sure you take a minute, scan that information, save it to your phone, because as you get your home and they're going through the inspections and you have questions on how that we may look at that, I want to make sure that you guys know that I'm here to help you out. So examples of items not eligible for coverage: windows, doors, structural. So anything structural, a warranty is not going to cover. We're covering mechanical breakdowns, so walls, foundations, those types of things, that's not going to be covered, okay? So I thought I'd let you kind of go down that. So we have a warranty that's our traditional home warranty. It's one with the Keller Williams on that. And how these work, we negotiate our parts cost and we negotiate our labor rates. That's how we can keep these costs down. So typically, what I would say with this is when a homeowner goes to file a claim, we're going to send a technician out. They're going to take a look at what's going on. They're going to send that report into us. We're going to evaluate the claim and approve it. And once it's approved, we're going to send, we're going to buy those parts and send them either to the home, if it's a small part, or we're going to send it to the technician's place of business, or they're going to go out and pick up the new AC, new hot water heater, or something along those lines. So that repair is not going to happen the day they show up. It'll probably, once those parts come in, then that technician's going to schedule time to go out and make that repair.
And that's important to know, because sometimes you're gonna get clients who are gonna say, well, they didn't repair it right away. Now we have to wait for parts. Well, one of the reasons these plans are so affordable is because they can buy from suppliers that make it more reasonable than going down the street to Home Depot. Does that make sense? So you all have to understand the why of why that happened, so that if your client gets, a little irritated with that. But the beauty is they're coming out of pocket very little
Right.
to get all of this done. So there's a balance there, as there is with any kind of insurance.
Right. So these are considered budgetary to try and keep a homeowner's budget in line, not always a next day's repair or replacement, okay? And chances are, no technicians out running around with all the parts for, you know, an appliance or an HVAC system. And a lot of times what they can do though, is if they're there, they can maybe get the system up and going temporarily until the actual part comes in. So just kind of keep that in mind. A lot of times I can get an air conditioner out there going and saying, hey, yeah, we still need the part, but I can get it up and going and get it limping along for the next 3 to 5 days until we get that part in. So, and it depends what that part is. So, one of the things I kind of mentioned is we all have base plans and we all have upgrade plans, okay? And the base plan will get the systems up, you know, is going to cover the systems. You're gonna see that on the back of the brochure here, right? But what it's not going to do is cover modifications and retrofitting. So if we go to put in a new furnace or new hot water heater, we're geared to take care of that labor wise and part wise, but gas lines, hallway permits, all those things are going to be left up to the homeowner, okay? So it's really important that you know and communicate to your buyers how important that upgrade package is. Because your customer satisfaction level is going to be a lot different. If you don't get that done, chances are you're going to get a phone call when we put a new furnace in, when they have to pay an additional $800. And they don't understand, oh, I've got a home warranty, why am I paying $800? And then you're going to call me, right? And I'm going to look into it. And I go, well, we don't have an upgrade. Okay. So then that conversation becomes a little tougher, because if you didn't talk to the homeowner or your buyer about that, then I'm never going to throw you guys under the bus. So just kind of keep that in mind, that you'll just communicate that they have the base plan, and that's what it covers. Okay, and they may ask me, well, what is, why do I have just the base plan? So on the flip side of this, I'm going to talk about sellers for a minute. If a seller is promoting a home warranty, okay, I would always stick with the home warranty that's on the listing, whether it's ours or anybody's. And let me tell you why. They've got coverage on there for 30 to 45 days. We know how those systems are running, right? So it's always best to leave whatever warranty is on the listing for the buyer. Don't switch it out, just leave it, okay? Now, chances are the seller is not going to purchase that upgrade package for the buyer. That's an additional cost for the buyer. So you need to be aware of that, because if your buyer is expecting something different, they're going to just get the base plan. Most warranty companies, and ours included, will give you 30 days or give that buyer 30 days after close to upgrade that plan. Okay, so they can do it on their own, or maybe that's a closing gift. So just kind of take that into consideration. And once again, if you have questions on any of that, let me know. We got someone who came in.
I'll get it.
There you go.
So Ken, to confirm what you just said, so if the list, the seller is offering a, home warranty,
Right,
and your buyer does want to upgrade, can they go ahead and buy that before it closes? You said it's a closing date.
you can negotiate that, and see if the seller will pay for that,
Right.
depending on what the inspection shows and what kind of
Okay.
leverage you may have
Mhm.
as a buyer's agent.
Right.
If you can't get that done, and you go, hey, as an agent, I'm gonna go ahead and purchase that for you, that upgrade plan, you can let it close. You're gonna get an invoice, you're gonna have an address, right? You can call in as the agent and say, hey, I want to go ahead and take care of this for my buyer. Okay? We're actually seeing right now, how many do you like referrals? Right?
All day.
All of us. So we're fortunate enough, as a home warranty company, you can actually buy a plan from us for as low as $438, and that's a $200 plan. And we've got some teams are actually purchasing that warranty as a closing gift. And we actually, one of our reps, we were on a conference call yesterday, and one of her team members was like, we come in here and we talk about coverage and we don't always coverage dump, but it can go, what are our differences? And this team, the lead of the team goes, we hear this all the time. What's important to me is referrals. And she goes, well, have you ever thought about maybe using the warranty as a closing gift as a way of getting referrals? So he started doing that. So something to consider. Okay. Yeah, we went over this, permits, disposable, defective equipment, that's all in the upgrade package. It's called our best plan, and that's an additional amount of money. So our total cost for a buyer to get the best plan from us is $697 with $100 trade service fee. That is the best plan. If they choose to go with a 200, that's going to be $597. Okay. I know there's other warranty companies here, so it's really important to know what the coverage is going to be. And we do have some that have their own contractors out there. They have a little bit more caps and limits, so just kind of keep that in mind. And I'm happy to have that conversation with you at any time. Huh.
Oh my, oh my,
How about that?
oh my, that's creative.
Mhm.
That's the AC system.
Yeah, inspection items found. Trying to file a claim. This is a service report that we got.
I'll move that. Let me move the closed caption so they can.
Inspection of the tank.
Oh, that just gives me the creeps.
See, this is what urination on a
Hey,
AC will do to a outside condenser.
yeah. Yeah, that's.
Okay. So, just kind of take a look at that and make sure you
AC system that you buy.
well, you're the agent. How would you handle that?
I'm not gonna sell the seller, I want to get AC.
Yeah, that's exactly right. This is not something we cover.
No.
Okay, either one of those. This is all pre-existing.
Right.
And also, if it's not installed properly, then it's most likely not covered.
Right.
If it's originally not installed correctly. So remember, it's like any kind of insurance. It covers, what's beautiful about this is it covers most things. It does not cover everything. And over the years, Kent and I probably have both heard agents say, oh, get that home warranty, it'll cover everything. And it's like, and then something happens and it's not covered and the client goes, but you said everything would be covered.
And
Don't
that puts you
ever,
guys-
ever say that.
I've actually had inspectors call me and say, hey, the agent said this and I know your warranty's on there. So just know that there's some communication that we all have around, and the only thing I said to the guys is like, listen, I'm not gonna say anything, and if something happens, and we'll deal with it as it happens, if they file the claim. I'm not gonna go to the agent and say, hey, by the way, you said this. We'll have that conversation. If a claim gets turned in, it gets denied. Right. So, one of the things I think is important is to realize that we have a network of technicians that are licensed and insured. There are some warranty companies out there, and we got in that market recently where they say, hey, you get to choose your own contractors. Okay. So you can't verify if they're insured. You can't verify if they're licensed. Anybody can run an ad. So, the other thing is, please watch out for flipped homes,
Yes.
please. And I'm telling you this because there are good flippers out there. There's amazing people that flip homes. So I'm not trying to talk trash on any of that. But I can tell you, sometimes they buy their systems and they're not correct for the home and the size of the home.
They're not installed.
They're not installed right. We had one that the claim got called in, it wasn't even connected.
Oh,
So the other one, we figured out that he bought the outside condenser off eBay
oh,
and tried to install it, and it was the wrong size for the home. It was too big. So, and you think, oh, well, bigger is better. No, it's gotta work with the ductwork that's in the home. Right? So,
Yeah, so that's another thing. Again, why do we do inspections? So that a buyer knows the health of the house that they're buying, and just because it's been flipped and it looks to have new things in it, doesn't mean they're installed correctly. Shiny doesn't mean correct. Yes, exactly, and there are a lot of those flipped houses, I call them butcher jobs. But they're truly butcher jobs, and they just did the fast, the easy, they made it look cute, but it's not put together well.
and as you get a little time as being an agent, and I'm sure Christy can walk into the house and just look at it, shake her head, I could do the same. You know, and you go, wow, they did a nice job, but you know, you can tell that it was a hatchet job. So just kind of to be aware of that. I guess the other thing I would probably lean to a little bit is, get one or two warranty companies that you like working with. Don't sit there and throw 5 warranty companies out there, because you've got to know a little bit about what you're doing as far as, you know, promoting. It's really easy to say, here, choose 3, but they're gonna ask you questions. And if you, I know there's probably all of us as account executives that have no problem talking to your homeowners, right? Because if you don't know the answer, please send them my direction, or at least call me and ask me the question so I can help answer that. You know, if I got back into selling real estate, I'm gonna lean on Kristen here to help me, because frankly, to tell you the truth, there wasn't online forums when I was selling. So, you know, you can't be the expert at everything, so just kind of make sure you got some people in your tool belt that you'd like to work with, whether it be mortgage or title or home warranty. So that way, you know, kind of we're here to back you up. I can tell you that there's three of the companies back there. We're very similar in our coverage, so I would probably stick with those 2 or 3.
Talk about, be specific about some of the upgrades you have that people can buy into, so
Yeah,
there's different.
Absolutely. So if you kind of open this up, here's kind of, we're all going to have, you know, the order system. We don't need this filled out, you guys, because you guys have this in your contract, so we don't need it filled out. The online system for us is really easy to use. And in fact, if you take the time, and I please advise you to scan this, okay, this is my QR code. You can order a warranty from this app, and it is so easy, so easy. So if you've got a few extra minutes, you go, I need to order a warranty, and you got this in your phone, you can order a warranty on the fly. It is really easy.
Because here's how it's gonna look. You as a buyer's agent, there's a paragraph in the contract that speaks to home warranties. Is there one being asked for? Who's going to pay for it, the buyer or seller? And then who is going to order it? The listing agent or the buyer's agent? Usually, unless there's a home warranty already on the listing, meaning the listing agent had the talk with the seller and the seller decided to put it on during the listing period, then it's going to be the buyer's agent. Okay, so it is not something that magically happens. You have to order it. You have to make sure that that information, that receipt, gets to all parties, and especially to the title company. Because the title company and the lender are not gonna know to add that. And is it a debit to the seller? Is it a debit to the buyer? They've gotta know that. So you're gonna have to order it and then make sure everybody knows that it's been ordered and it's in place. So that is up to you. I will also say a thing about sellers. Highly, highly recommend, actually, I did it on all my listings. I, told my sellers to all put a home warranty on their home during the listing period. Now, I get it. When houses were only lasting a day or 2 on the market, most sellers couldn't see the value in it. But can I tell you, we're seeing more days on market, and as you do, you know, things can happen to a house during the listing period. I've had it on my own listings, and thank God I got my sellers 90% of the time, I got my sellers to put a home warranty on their house. And what that did is one seller, it was August. And the AC went out, 14 days before closing. Guess what? We had a home warranty. Good, great, covered. Had a leak in an upstairs basement that then came down through the floor into the kitchen ceiling onto the kitchen wooden floors. The sellers had a home warranty. So things can happen during that period, and to have that in place is such a peace of mind for the sellers. And it's a great marketing tool, like Kent was saying, if for any reason you're listing a house with older systems, and a buyer's thinking, well, I love this house, but oh, if anything breaks, I can't afford to have it fixed. You can give them a little bit more peace of mind by saying, hey, but we have a home warranty on this.
Exactly. Great point. So I'm gonna go ahead and we'll visit, why don't I just finish up the buy side and move on to the listing side? So Kristen mentioned some of the things that we're offering for buyers. And you'll see that right here, swimming pools, water softeners. One of the things that come up, especially around here quite a bit, again, the Brookside, is outside water, sewer, and gas line coverage.
Yes.
We offer it, okay? And it's important, especially in these old areas of Prairie Village.
This house, right here.
This house right here. Exactly. Okay, so part of the inspection process, you're gonna probably wanna consider getting somebody out there and getting a view of the sewer line. You know, that's part of the inspections, okay? So you might wanna do that. Yes, it's an extra cost, but I can tell you, my neighbor, $22,000.
It's one of the most, well, it's infrastructure, so it can be one of the most expensive things to fix on a house.
We just did ours, it was awful.
It was awesome. Right. Yeah, so we offer it, and I'm gonna tell you, we're probably the warranty company that offers the most coverage when it comes to water, sewer, and gas line coverage. As far as what our payouts are gonna be, we offer, unfortunately, I know it's gonna seem like not a lot, but we offer $3,000, okay? And then another $1,500 if it goes into sidewalk or sewer. So I'm just gonna tell you right now, because I'm a pretty honest guy. Is there's other areas where you're gonna be able to get that, and another area that's gonna cover more. And one of them, I think the insurance guy here, they offer it as a rider, and it's $10,000.
Yeah.
So you might wanna check with him.
And some municipalities will offer that, sewer line,
Yeah.
insurance at a very affordable rate also. One of the best things you all could do, a value to every homeowner you know, who especially lives in old neighborhoods, but anywhere, is to encourage them to get that insurance on their home.
Even
Right now.
homeowner, any homeowner you know.
Any homeowner, because when they go to sell that house and if there's something wrong, because they don't know. Unless they've had evidence of it backing up or something like that, people think it's all A-OK. And that's the most common thing, a seller will say, well, I haven't had any problems, but the sewer lines clogged or cracked.
Mhm.
Look, and that.
So there's also a company called Home Serve USA, okay? And they work through, I think, Johnson County Water Line.
I think my house has
Yeah,
those.
Home Serve USA. I have them on my house.
Mhm.
They do it amazing. They do a good job. So I would always encourage you, fill out a great home warranty, right? And then go from there. If it's an older home, communicate with them about this, as far as water, sewer, and gas line coverage. So I think that's really important to do. Because that's expensive. How much was yours, just out of curiosity?
It wasn't terrible, I was terrible. It wasn't awful, I would say 8.
8,000?
That's still a chunk of change.
I mean,
a lot
I
of
started
people-
right away this summer too, it was like, okay.
Who wants to spend $8,000 for a hole in your yard?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's exactly.
Right?
They've got things they can do.
Yeah, I wanna go on vacations and do stuff. That's what these policies are for. It's peace of mind. It allows you to go, hey, I'm gonna spend this amount of money for this, and maybe on a renewal, spend it on a monthly basis, and I'm not gonna have to worry about it. It's a budgetary thing. So, and just as an FYI, we'll sell you more than 1 year at a time. Okay, so if you got extra money sitting around in settlement costs or however that works, it's just twice the amount. So warranties do go up after the first year, okay? We all do. These are discounted for you guys to use, or your homeowners to have the first year go around. And if they want to build out 2 years or 3 years or 4 years, if they want to build it into their mortgage, they can do that. We can sell them, or you can promote more than 1 year. It's just double price.
And keep this in mind, so remember, he said they have 30 days in which to, if they don't put it on there right away, to put it on at the discounted price.
Right.
After that, it's gonna be the normal price if they wait longer to put that home warranty on. So you had your name.
So this is, it has to be in working condition at the time of the warranty.
Right. Yeah.
And then we're like, oh, you should get a warranty, well, like, if they put it on and then if they fix it and they prevent everything.
So let's get into the selling side of that. Okay, I think let's just move on to the sell side. So we're gonna talk about buy side. So let me wrap up a couple things, then we'll move on. No, you're good. So some of the highlights that I think, we'll touch on is if you open this up right here, all these items underneath the house, this is outside the coverage itself. These are great callback items for you guys to use once you get somebody in a house. We offer emergency lodging reimbursement up to $1,200. So if we can't get heat or air in the home, and they go out, technician goes out, and we can't get it up and going within 24 hours, the technician, they get to go to a hotel. Because,
Do you know how nice that is? I'm sorry, I just have to give you personal experience. I had a home warranty on my house, and the AC went out. It was in the 90s. And I understood that they have to order the parts and everything. My condenser died. They tried to
right,
fix it. And here's the other thing, and you might have mentioned this. Remember, they're always going to try and repair first before replace.
right,
So you've got to make certain the consumer doesn't think, oh, new refrigerator. If they can repair it, they're going to repair it before they replace it. So my AC went out
mhm,
and it took them 5 days to repair it. And it got up to 96 degrees in my house. I had to go live with family. Which was fine, and again, it cost me so little to replace that condenser. However, if I could have been told I could go somewhere and not have to beg my family.
yeah. So, and that's really one of the features, that's our differentiator, because
Yeah,
not all.
That's your special.
That's not all companies offer that. And I can tell you the other thing is, if it's something's underneath the manufacturer's warranty, it supersedes any home warranty company. So let's say they've got 10 years on that HVAC because it's still pretty new, right? We have to work with the manufacturer to get those parts, and we have no home warranty has the control of speeding up the manufacturer to get those parts. Does that make sense? Okay. So speaking of that, we had an older couple in Gardner, Missouri. Bless their hearts. I had 4 AC systems in there. It's probably one of the hottest portable AC systems, probably one of the hottest ever we've had the summers. Got about 8 years ago. And we just got this part of our policy. We knew the manufacturer wasn't going to get the part until 7 days. They went to Branson, Missouri.
So make it a vacation.
We don't care where the receipt comes from. So just as an FYI. So just take a look at that. We have a homeowner's deductible reimbursement. So if they file a homeowner's insurance claim the first year, they can get a supplement check for us for $500. That's kind of nice. So I'll just kind of segue over to the seller side. Because I know it's so funny that you brought this up. It's so hard to get these on, right? But it is not. It is not hard.
It is not.
It is not.
You know how to
You
sell
know
the value.
You know Jace Johns?
Mhm.
Jace Johns, which is Judy, you'll know Judy. She's the one that kind of brought KW around
To Kansas City.
to Kansas City. Her grandson gets these on every single listing.
Yeah.
And he's just been selling for 2 years.
Mhm.
So they're not hard. It's just learning how to communicate that.
Well, knowing the value of it.
Right. Right. And so, you can get these on listings. We're not gonna charge until the home closes, and that's only if if it closes. So they get to use the warranty. We do charge extra, so you put the base plan on, 538 or 438, and then decide if they want to add cellar HVAC. That's $75 with us, so you would add that on, and then they don't pay for it till it closes. So, I can tell you that, one of the teams that I work with, they put it on the listings. They ask the seller, hey, have you had your system cleaned or serviced recently? And they go, well, yeah, I have. Oh, great, let's get that receipt, so it's there for the inspection, and then they may not add it, depending on the age.
Mhm.
Okay? The other thing that they've done is they've said, hey, I think what we're gonna do, instead of spending the $75 on the cellar HVAC, we're gonna start communicating with them and having them clean and service it before we list the property,
Yes.
so they know what the condition is. And using the money, that $75 that way versus putting it on. And it's certainly the seller's choice.
And know that in inspections, one of the most common thing an inspector's gonna say is HVAC needs to be cleaned and serviced. It is the most common
It
thing.
is.
And if there's going to be, and if a buyer's gonna negotiate for a home warranty, your seller should definitely do that. And as a buyer's agent, you should make certain that they do that.
It's $100 to $150.
It's critical that they do that.
HVAC is just as expensive to put in as a roof or peers into a foundation. So just don't skip that step. And if you have questions on how an inspection's written and what we may look at as far as a home warranty, don't hesitate to give me a call. Because I think that's really important. We don't want to skip that step. And then they get that coverage for free. And then 1 year from the day to close, that buyer gets it. And then from there, we'll send out renewal notices.
Did you hear that the buyer gets a whole year of coverage, even if the sellers had coverage during the listing period? Because that's a very common question.
Right.
Well, do the buyers, how many months do they get? No, they get a whole year,
Every whole year.
a whole year.
Yeah, so the seller's coverage is free. So when you're out taking that listing appointment, say, hey, in fact, to tell you the truth, that's really can be a differentiator. Because I was on that conference call with, we were talking about kind of some things in the industry and, this team started communicating. They're just like, hey, they asked the homeowner, why did you choose me over the other 2 people you interviewed? Because it looks like you're taking care of us because you're the only one that talked about home warranty. So,
The other thing about home warranties, do you all understand what your E&O insurance is?
oh yeah,
Your errors and omissions insurance, do you know? You learned a little bit about it, right?
For what you like don't notice in inspections, like.
Well, it is
You don't-
in case, not just inspections, it's in case, as an agent, if you made an error or a mistake, not negligence, not on purpose, not that you did something bad and fraudulent, it will not cover you then. But if you make a mistake or an error, then you have insurance coverage. One of the best ways to protect yourself, and the number one issue for brokers that comes to us are inspection or repair items. The number one thing that legal action and lawsuits and everything. So if you want to protect yourself, our E&O insurance says one of the best things you can do is make sure every transaction has a home warranty on it.
NAR stat, National Association of Realtor, 67% of all no claims that have been taken care of by them.
That's high.
Well, because they're all repair and inspection items. They are. And so just think about that. If you want to really protect yourself and your clients, then really be an advocate for these, because of the value and for the legal risk, the legal liability.
I used to know the stat, and I wanted, there's a stat out there, and you can probably look it up. How long a buyer, once you get it the home, starts taking the mental ownership of the home? Because they're there in the home, but it's new to them, but they are still thinking, well, some of these problems the seller may have known about. They're not taking the ownership in their mind. Yeah,
No, it's an automatic, I will tell you. Remember, inspections are just a snapshot in time of the health of the house. The next week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, something can break or fail. And so it is almost 90%, I would, just on my unprofessional or my professional experience as a broker, but not on anything scientific. I would say 90% of the time when something breaks in the house and the buyer's only been in the house a month or two, they're gonna assume that the seller knew about it and they were hiding it. So people would come to me as brokers and seller knew. Maybe not, maybe not. But that's their automatic perception is that. And the other thing is, for that E&O insurance, the other thing that will protect you all is to make sure there is, an inspection. If there is no inspection, and I get it, sometimes that's how a buyer has to win a house. Just know you've actually put yourself at legal risk.
what were those things? Contracts?
Yep.
Inspection, warranty, there's 4 things.
Yeah, there are 4 things that protect, they give you the highest protection,
In your, you know,
in your E&O, and I can't remember the 4 things.
I know,
I will look.
but it's automated, you kind of already do that
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have you show me how to spell
Yes.
this.
You want the other slide?
Yeah,
Yes, we will. Definitely. I can do that.
oh. Are you getting ready for the next class?
She does that very quietly while
Yeah.
we finish up.
Good. We'll wrap up here shortly.
Let me share this with the Zoomers.
There you go.
Mm. Oh, it's in my, there we go. Are you guys learning something?
Yes.
So I kind of dug these stats up because I thought it was kind of interesting. When I get my little space, I kind of try and dig some of the stuff up because I think it's helpful. Homeownership difficulties. I thought this is where some of this comes from. Those who have regret say made too many compromises, 46%. Too much upkeep. Too many unexpected issues, 47. Some of those unexpected issues, home warranty
Would have covered.
would have taken care of it.
Mhm.
And then you have more expensive than anticipated. So this is another reason, right? As those maintenance stuff or those things break, they're tied up in mortgage payments, you know, and all the things, right? And then the home warranty stuff. Lifespan. You might grab your phone and take a picture of this. Okay? Because when you start going through your inspections, and you can see the average lifespan of the systems. That might be something that you might wanna,
Okay, this
Okay.
makes sense, but I never thought about it. It depends where you live.
look
because
down here, you think that AC is working harder down here? Right? So. I went to Colorado not long ago, you're up in the mountains, they don't even have AC.
But it's getting warmer there.
It is, yeah.
Like, whoa, we don't have AC and it's hot in the summer.
This is another one you wanna take a picture of.
And what happened to the
I would attest to that,
what happened to the 30-year-old lifespan?
yeah.
How long do your appliances last in home? Years on the refrigerator. You remember those olive green ones that just,
That kept on
Gold.
going?
That
Forever.
Right.
Was it my parents' garage refrigerator?
Yes.
It's fine.
Yes, because they last for, well, and isn't it because, I mean, this is what I've heard, is because we put now computer. It's
Yeah.
the same with cars. Those are more expensive to fix, they're harder to fix, yeah. So it's great to have, but it also makes them obsolete sooner.
So when you go out and you start thinking about an appliance and you want that wonderful TV screen in your refrigerator, because it's really cool, you can show your family pictures in there, don't do it.
Yeah, really,
Okay,
seriously.
and we don't have them here, but there are some home warranty companies that have a Samsung clause. They're not here in Kansas City.
Where they won't cover it.
Well, they will not cover Samsungs,
Too much computer
just
stuff.
constantly failing.
Yeah.
It's usually a closed system. They're great on, hey, they're great on phones. But or TVs, but they're closed systems, so you go out and make a repair, then something else breaks and it's just constant. So, we don't have that, and there's not any warranty companies that I've read here against that. But when you go out and make these purchases, or maybe you're advising a homeowner, you know, they buy floor space. In Home Depot, the rest Furniture Mart,
they do.
they purchase that floor space. So that when you walk in, the first thing you're gonna see is Samsung or LG. Those are two companies. We get a nice GE profile that, you know, is got more parts available. The other thing I will just touch on, and I'm not trying to get into anything political, but our HVAC companies are already preparing, they're raising their rate 6%. So because possible tariffs coming down the line,
Right, that will.
it will impact everyone. So if and when that ever comes into play, my main contractor out in Kansas, right outside in Shawnee area, already said that they have sent letters that they're raising prices 6%. In preparation, so another good reason to keep these around, good budget item. So anything, questions that I might be able to answer for you guys?
So you said Samsung, was the other one, did you say GE?
LG. You're fine using the home warranty company as far as that goes, but if you're ever making your own personal purchase, just something you could, hey, it's the luck of the draw. My mom's had a Samsung for over 10 years. So I don't know if things have changed on how they put some of that stuff together or not, but that's where we
But
get a lot
what
of
you've
problems.
seen as an industry.
In the industry.
Those are the problem.
Yes, ma'am.
Most
Like,
likely,
like, you know, consumer reports, those companies that research products,
yeah.
they don't rate.
Yeah.
Here's a clarifying question, because you're saying like you get the warranty like for seller agent, get the warranty for the seller, they don't pay for it until it closes.
Right.
Then we would pay a year long
Right.
amount, even if it was only on, for like a couple of months.
So for the buyer.
You're paying for the buyer.
To the buyer.
Right.
Okay, so the buyer, like, yeah,
They get a year.
No matter what.
Right.
So the sellers pay anything for it.
Yes, they have a service call.
Unless they have a service call. Right. And they cannot get any of the upgrade packages for any of the warranty companies on the sell side. So if we go in and put a hot water heater in, they're paying for the labor cost, but they may not be getting modification or retrofitting gas lines all the way. Because that's an unfunded warranty, so it's limiting the exposure liability. Right, but for the most part, hey, we just put in a $2,200 stove for Jay's job on the sell side. So we got one happy seller out there.
Yeah.
Right, so they're beneficial.
What other questions do you all have? Let me see if anybody on Zoom has any questions.
Everybody on
You
Zoom?
said sewer line that, tell me about it.
This has been really great.
Is that something? Is that?
We cover septic, it's usually a very limited amount. We're not covering that. That's another one I would advise you to have them shop with an insurance company, like our homeowners insurance as a rider. Okay, we'll cover it, but it's like something in $1,000. Well, that's not gonna be much.
I know the video,
Right.
like,
But we're still the most robust of any of the companies that I've read warranty plans. So shop a writer on that.
So the last thing I'd say is in a buyer's presentation, I already had the 3 brochures of the 3 companies I recommended. And talk to my buyers about those. And then I would do the same when I had a listing appointment. I wasn't waiting until we were gonna write a contract to have those conversations. I wanted them to be able to look them over and figure out what they would ideally want to place either on their house or have as a buyer. So have those conversations early, but that means in where the big printer is across from Yvette, those are where Kent has his brochures and our other service providers that affiliate with this office.
Yep.
Well, Kent, thank you so
Yep.
much. I hope you guys learned a lot. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I already heard all that. All right, thank you very much. I am.
Thanks, Zoomers.
I live right here in town.